bro. Podcasts are always like this hit or miss for me. Well, not hit or miss, but it's like there's so many things you want to talk about and you just run out of time. It's like I can see why Joe Rogan goes for like 3 hours sometimes.
For sure.
But at the same time, like I don't have that much time to edit 3 hours of stuff.
Well, that's the nice thing about Joe Rogan is I'm sure he doesn't come near.
No. And I've thought about outsourcing my editing, but until the podcast starts making money, it's just going to be for personal work for me. But
yeah,
man, that was good. Like I wanted to get in. Oh, I did get into that. I wanted to get into like how you teach and what got you into like, you know, speaking and imaging, or if that was just like a one-off thing. And then I wanted to talk about like,
well, yeah, no, that's the only thing I've ever spoken at.
That's the one thing you've ever done.
That's the only thing I've ever spoken at. That's the only thing I've ever taught.
Yeah, you did such a good job. You know what's funny? I had no idea that you were missing a leg until like later on.
Yeah.
And after knowing you do a really great job of. Oh, no one would know.
Appreciate it. Well, you know, it's saying that when I was learning to use a prosthetic, they basically said, okay, look, you can come into the hospital and you can do outpatient physical therapy and they'll teach you how to do it and you'll get like 2 sessions a week. Or you can come into the rehab hospital and you'll get 3 sessions a day. And so it was like, and they're like, we recommend you do that because you'll get 3 sessions a day for 2 weeks. You got to come live in the hospital for 2 weeks, which after going through cancer and everything else, I was like, God, that's the last thing I want to do. But they're like, but you're going to learn how to use your leg well. And it was like, okay, like 2 weeks to set me up for the rest of my life, like to build the right habits and everything else. So I did it. And I'm saying that like at my prosthetist that I work with now, like when above knee amputees, like, so below knee amputees can walk like I do, but above knees usually can't. And, and that's saying that like at the process office, when above knees see me walking like that and they realize I'm an above knee, that they'll like regularly, I'll hear them ask my process, who's one of the best in the world. And they'll be like, can I walk like that? And he'll be like, maybe. Rob's a really good walker. And like, and then like we'll end up talking. I'll tell him, well, yeah, I did. You know, I took that time, and then because I was living in the hospital, I had nothing to do. So like I would go and like walk stairs and like do stuff that like I was definitely not supposed to do. And every once in a while, my physical therapist would catch me. This is dangerous. Like you just learned how to get on this thing. I'm so bored. Like I need something to do. But so, yeah, so that's, I've got some good habits, but you know, if you walk behind me up some stairs, you'll see pretty quick.
Okay. Yeah. That's funny. I had no idea. And I think that's really cool. Has it ever like, affected your ability to, like your stamina for like whole day shoots in studio and stuff, or do you have solutions for that, or are you strong enough that doesn't really bother you?
No, I mean the big thing is it'll rub, and so like there was a Foot Locker shoot I did that we had just built a new leg, and I was getting blisters from it, and so like it was like my liner was cut a little bit too low, so I like would get a line of blisters like where the liner ended inside the socket. And so like test shoot day, I got a line of blisters. So I just came home that night and I cut the liner a little bit lower. And so pre-light day, a line of blisters there. So it was like I got like tiger shots on my leg. So every day I was just cutting it lower and lower just so I wasn't popping and re-blistering in the same spot. Just added a new line of blisters. So, and then our shoot day was 17 hours. Like by the end of it, man, I could barely walk.
That sounds miserable. It's almost like having really uncomfortable shoes without any socks.
Yeah. So imagine that times like 5,000, like because every step you take, it's rubbing. And so you get blisters, and then it's like cutting into them and popping them, and then they're re-blistering and then cutting them and popping it. Oh man. Like I literally I sucked it up and just did it. And, you know, I tried to make it as unnoticeable as possible, but I was talking to my digital tech next day, and I like sent him a picture of my line, and like my whole leg was all blistered up. He was like, dude, I had no idea. I was like, I was dying. But gear, and I had a PA bringing my gear back in, and I was like, dude, I am sorry. Like, I would love to help you. I cannot. Like, I always help out with it. He's like, no, this is my job.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I feel like a jerk when somebody's hauling my stuff around. I'm not contributing. I sat down. I was like, dude, I can't get back up. But, so that it has certain challenges. But again, I don't know that I'd be doing this stuff if I hadn't done it. So, it's one of those things that it is what it is. And I also think that I've told some people about this before. I think it helped me start working with teams sooner than I would have, because doing stuff like that, like hauling a bunch of gear and all that, like I can do it, but man, it is 10 times harder for me to do it, especially if we're like outdoors or anything like that. So it got me asking people who like stuff, like coming out to assist me, like before I was like out doing it full time. So like there was a copywriter that I worked with that loved photography, but wasn't doing what I did, but so he loved coming out. So I would just hit him up and be like, hey, Greg, I'm going to shoot a skateboarder down here. Would you mind coming helping me haul some lights and stuff? And he'd always be like, hell yeah, man, would love to. And so like, but then that gave me sort of the encouragement that I didn't mind asking more people to jump in and help on stuff.
Yeah.
And, so it's totally. Sort of like, I think it moved me in the direction of working with teams a lot quicker. And then also to get to this higher level, you're working with teams, So, I think getting comfortable with that was a big benefit to me, actually.
Yeah, no, that's actually really good. The first time I experienced having a team, well, it's tough because until you've experienced working with someone who does a better job than you, it's hard to let go.
Yeah.
And the first time I experienced that was when I worked at School of Motion. I had editors. I was the senior editor, and we had 3 other editors. And I just let them do their thing. Like, I'd seen good management before, and so I wanted to be that manager. And when they come back in a quicker amount of time doing work better than you would have done, I'm like, that's so cool. And to experience that on set, the first time I've done that on a photography set was actually this January, and I did a shoot for an earplugs company. It was a lifestyle shoot on a white cyclical wall that had to be colored, saturated, gelled. That was really difficult with 5 models. But we had a hairstylist, hair and makeup artists, and then we had the creative director, we had the video team, and I was the lighting tech and photography guy. And it was small comparatively to anything like we talked about today, but just seeing the level of work we were able to achieve as a team would never have happened with just me or just the video guys. Because like the hair and makeup, huge pull. Having good models that know how to hold themselves and take direction, huge benefit. And just like, I want to do more of that. It's so satisfying when everything comes together.
Add wardrobe into it, and that brings it up to an even higher level. Like I don't think people put enough emphasis and attention on wardrobe. Like that's actually I'm going to do a model I worked with before. She's like a Ford model here in Chicago. She hit me up and asked me if I'd do some fashion stuff with her, like a fashion test. And I was like, yeah, actually, like I've got some stuff in that space, but it'd be nice to have a little bit more so I can actually have a full portfolio of it. So, but that was the first person I reached out to is wardrobe. And I've got some great wardrobe artists I've worked with here in Chicago, but wardrobe, hair, and makeup, those are my 2 calls when I'm setting up a test or something like that. Like those are the first people I reach out to.
Yeah. And my first kind of dabble into that was for this photo I took. I don't know if you've seen it around, but this one, I never thought about the crown and the scepter. And I'm like, that finished the whole shot.
Yep.
It was like everything. And it was funny because I texted the stylist like 2 days before the shoot, and she's like, oh, I have so many ideas. And she just built all that from scratch.
Yeah.
Hot glued it all together, and I'm like, you're freaking insane. Like, it's so cool. So just like, I'm getting better at collaborative stuff.
Did you put together like a mood board and send it over to her, or did you just
it was honestly 3 AI generated images based on my prompts.
Okay, cool.
So she did have something to pull from for sure. And they did have crowns and scepters. It was meant to be like an ice queen kind of thing, but I never thought we would have the level of like actual props. I thought it was just going to be more abstracted, but yeah, it was cool. So one day I'll get to the level that you're at.
Well, wait, did my camera ever come back on for the end of this?
Yeah, it did. It just turned off like 30 seconds ago.
Cool. No, so I looked down. I was like, wait, is that? But
oh, good.